But you're here.
Yeah. Hello, partner. I'm Bill Hemmer, live in Israel. We're in Tel Aviv today. Yesterday, we were live in Sderot. Yesterday morning, we were inside Gaza. With an exclusive look traveling through the rubble of Rafah to get a first-hand look at how people in Gaza are getting food as we speak. And then we want to understand the complexities of this aid operation. You know, you got the ongoing crisis in the Middle East, you got an active war, you got growing international implications all around us here now. The world's waiting to see what comes next. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu set to meet with his security cabinet tomorrow on Thursday. We will sit down with him in the afternoon as well. Trey Yinks, my colleague, standing by in Israel. He has worked this story for 7 years. We'll get Trey's reaction in a moment to all the developments that we are seeing so far. Back to this closer look inside Gaza. We've heard from a lot of Americans, former special forces who are operating, trying to run the Gazan Humanitarian Foundation. Big job, massive responsibilities. They've been in operation a mere 2 months. They took us in, embedded with their unit yesterday, and we wanted to find out how the people who come and get food feel about their current situation today. It's the moment thousands are waiting for, as pallets of food are waiting for them. This man is 45 years old, speaking through razor wire.
He got flour today. He was so happy. He got some lentil. He's got some pasta. So he was so excited.
At one of 4 food sites established inside Gaza, the past 2 months have seen stubborn progress. This supply won't last long. After 15 minutes or so, it's nearly gone. Getting into Gaza is a feat of its own. We were escorted exclusively through the town of Rafah with the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. The entire 5-mile route near the Egyptian border has been flattened by the Israeli military. Nothing is left. This girl is 12 years old. Her name is Halima. Is Hamas the right group to lead her and her family?
They have destroyed us. They have killed my father. They have killed my brother. They have destroyed the people of Gaza.
This father is 51 years old. He has 7 kids. What does he think of the war?
This war is unnecessary. It brought us back about 100 years backwards.
What does he think of Hamas?
Hamas brought him back about 100 years. They lived in homes, and now they are living out in the open in tents and in makeshift homes.
He was only able to grab a few potatoes on this day. This woman is 43 and wants out of Gaza, she says, but her family is trapped by an endless war. Today, what does she think about her future for her and her family?
She's hoping to leave the country. How long am I going to live in a tent for the rest of my life and for my children? She's hoping for a better future, so she really hopes that she would leave the country.
All right, that was the scene yesterday morning here. We are told the same scene happened again today at 2 different sites operating in Gaza by this group. They have 4 total. Today they served 2 different sites, and more than 1.1 million meals were delivered on those pallets that we showed you earlier. I want to bring back in Dana from New York and bring in our colleague here in Tel Aviv, Trey Yinks, who joins us now. 7 years here. Trey, when you think about the next steps in this war, I want to ask you about the decisions for Netanyahu, but you were with us yesterday as well as we rolled through the southern part of the Gaza Strip, and you saw the destruction in Rafah, and you saw those people. What impressions did you have watching that with us together?
Yeah, Bill, absolutely. Nearly the entirety of the Gaza Strip has been damaged or destroyed in the Israeli campaign to defeat Hamas. And we're at day 670 of the war. This all started on the morning of October 7th. And we knew at that moment, reporting from southern Israel, that the Israelis were going to invade Gaza. But the question now is whether or not they're going to occupy the Gaza Strip. And reports this week indicate that the security cabinet will meet tomorrow night in Jerusalem to decide on that very question. And if they decide to move forward with an occupation of Gaza, it raises a lot of very important questions. One, about the fate of the remaining 50 hostages that remain in Hamas captivity, 20 of them who are believed to be alive, but also what the plan is to end this conflict, because there are 2 major Israeli goals: to bring the hostages home and to defeat and destroy Hamas. And nearly 700 days in, the Israeli military has not been able to do so. There are domestic internal political disagreements about the path forward. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the Chief of Staff Eyal Zamir have had very public and private disagreements, but also questions from the families of hostages who wonder if an Israeli operation deeper into Gaza, into these central areas, such as the city of Deir al-Balah, could endanger their loved ones.
Wow, profound. Dana?
Well, I'm just curious if, I mean, you're getting to it, Trey, but maybe we could dig a little bit deeper. I mean, there's all politics is local, so there are local politics in Israel. They have knockdown, drag-out fights, as we know. But if Bibi Netanyahu is thinking of going in, I mean, for how long? I mean, that is, I don't know how you get a new leadership in that would replace Hamas. Maybe they can. Have they thought that? I'm sure they've thought it through, but what can you tell us about it?
Look, these conversations have been taking place on a macro level in the region about the future of Gaza. If Hamas is not in control of the Strip, someone has to lead this population on both a political and civil level. There are 2 million Palestinian civilians who are living inside Gaza, and the vast majority of them are just that. They're civilians. They're in need of food, water, civil services, medicine, hospitals. Many of these medical facilities were damaged throughout the course of the war as the Israelis fought Hamas inside not only Gaza City, but in major population centers like Khan Yunis and Rafah in the south, where Bill and I visited yesterday. And so the Palestinian Authority is one option. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas has offered, in part, to rule Gaza. But also there are questions about regional players like the Emiratis or the Qataris who could flood Gaza with money and resources to try not only to rebuild, but also stabilize an incredibly catastrophic situation on the ground. We are just getting a look with our visit yesterday of how dire the situation is from the perspective of the civilian population. But there are still these pockets of Hamas who are targeting Israeli forces, and they are ambushing Israeli soldiers. They're popping out of tunnels. They're hiding in densely populated areas. And it creates an incredibly challenging situation for the Israeli military that's lost hundreds of their own soldiers. Israeli military officials that spoke with Fox News over the past 2 weeks have indicated that if Prime Minister Netanyahu pushes forward with this operation to occupy Gaza, it will come at a very high price, not only for the civilian population, but for the Israeli army that will have to battle Hamas on the ground, a group that is hiding beneath the Gaza Strip.
Yeah, what's interesting about yesterday, too, I found just by going in there, Trey and Dana, is that there were active airstrikes during the day, and they were plain to see, and you could hear them, and you could see the smoke plumes go up in the air. That happened for hours. And I want to play this clip. It's call for number 2, New York. And this is a moment I want Trey and I to have a chance to explain to our audience, all right? This is before the Palestinians come for their food, before thousands of Gazans come streaming down that dirt road. Listen to the background noise. Here.
Look, it's an act of war. I get that. But why so much gunfire as we stand here?
Well,
on behalf of the Israeli army.
Through hard experience, we figured out that's the only way to keep the crowd back. They don't listen to reason. They don't listen to words. No amount of flashbangs or grenades will hold them back, like the non-lethal stuff. They end up running through. The only thing that holds them back is the threat of gunfire hitting right in front of them. We're not doing it.
And you have to think they're desperate and they're hungry.
That's right. You can feel the desperation level rise as you know as they come in. You'll feel the energy when they come in. It's palpable.
So here's what we want to get to. There are claims on behalf of many that the Israeli army is shooting innocent people in line for food. It sounds dramatic. It sounds so dire on behalf of the Gazans. The people we were with yesterday said that does not happen in the areas where we operate. And Trey, you've been watching it from the very beginning. How would you address this?
Yeah, Bill, this is why your reporting was so critical yesterday, going into Gaza to go after the facts and ask the tough questions. And that's exactly what you did. And we learned a lot of information. We could hear the gunfire in the distance. And we know for a fact that hundreds of Palestinian civilians have been killed over the past 2 months on their way to get aid. The questions that we've asked: who's shooting? Where are they being shot? What are the circumstances surrounding these deaths? And how can we accurately verify the numbers that we're receiving from the Hamas-run Palestinian Health Ministry? And so the way that we deal with that is we don't report on the exact numbers, because international journalists are not allowed to independently enter Gaza to report on this information. But so we posed these questions to the military, who confirmed that they are firing warning shots in the directions of Palestinians. But as it relates to the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, what we learned yesterday is that these Palestinians are not being shot inside the premises where they're distributing aid. They're being shot on the way to these distribution points. And this was a clear distinction that these American contractors wanted to make. They're not firing their weapons in most cases because they're looking to maintain order in the area where these distributions are taking place at 4 separate locations across the Gaza Strip. So the bottom line here is that despite the controversy and criticism related to the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, they are successfully getting aid into the hands of Palestinian civilians. According to UN officials that I've talked with over the past week, this is a drop in the bucket of what's actually needed to address the issue of hunger and starvation inside Gaza. But if this can be done at scale, and according to those officials we talked to yesterday, they want to wrap this up and actually build it at scale, this could be one of many options to address the humanitarian needs inside Gaza.
I think we both can agree yesterday was quite extraordinary for us and our crew and everyone involved here. Trey, thank you so much for your work. Our coverage continues in a moment from Tel Aviv, Dana.
Yes,
Back
I
to
will
you now.
agree with you on that as well. And there has been a chilling